All right, good day. Hope you're good. So we're going to do a quick analysis. I've checked the calendar. I've noticed it's a holiday, Thanksgiving holiday in USA. That's for Thursday and Friday, meaning the markets might want to complete their weekly range within the 3 days which we have of normal trading, which is between Monday to Wednesday. So I'll be looking forward to trades on probably Nasdaq, German 40, um, gold probably, but if you see on H4 it's been choppy, but let me just go through them one by one. So I've just noticed something here. If you notice, I had marked the previous high and the previous low of the last H1 candle on German 40. I was looking for price to tap one of these two. So let me see if we can be able to get a buy setup here. Okay, M15 hasn't yet lined up with what I want to see. Okay. Right. So let's see what happens. So this is the range which I have before the London session open with the liquidity sweep on the bottom side. So I just want to see if price is going to hold within this range. So what happens if I see price start to push up and if we break today's open price, I'll look for buys here, right? That's around 23,300 area. Let's just say 23,310. Then I'll be looking for 100 points. Each time I trade indices, I look for 100 points. So in looking for these 100 points now, I will be anticipating a break and a retest of this external range or this buy side liquidity. We break and we retest for us to continue pushing up to reach this 100 point target. My bias here has been bullish. Let me see why I wanted it to be bullish. Okay, looking at this um daily chart price action, I see price just coming back up here to this level, maybe to the 13 EMA area, maybe towards 23,500. But before I sell, I would love to see some form of liquidity sweep, especially on this price action here, right here. I would like to see price sweep, maybe tap into this area. If they want to sell, then they'll start to push back down or maybe come up as high as here. So with this bias in place, that's where the buy I'm looking for here is coming from. So I hope that makes sense. So this is currently active. So let's just actively stalk it. Let me see what's going on the M1. Okay, M1 is tapped into a fair value gap. Okay, let me see if I'll actually execute this trade on my phone. I'm trying to check which account I'm going to use for this particular trade. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go in with the buy at current market price. I already showed you my bias. The 1 minute after this liquidity sweep, we agree there is a fair value gap here, and we also agree there is a fair value gap here. And price came and tapped both. So I'm looking forward for a push coming back up to this high here and maybe possibly a break and a retest. That's what I'm currently looking for. For a scalp trade, this would be the TP area. Okay, so sometimes you see when I'm doing a live session, it's hard to multitask and then come to the group and share the signals as well. So it might take some time. So it's better for people to join the live trading session whereby we are executing the trade live and you understand why the trade is being taken as well. We are not just like doing random trades. We are actually looking for a bias and looking for patterns, confirmations, and we are executing the trade. So let's see if we're going to get the break and the retest so that we can get to the 100 points. So again, if each time you hear me speak of a buy pattern, I'll just be looking for something like this. That's a normal buy pattern for me. So what I want to see is a liquidity sweep. Then we get a break of structure. Then price retraces either to this level or to an order block or to a fair value gap within this area. Then once we get a nameable candle, we execute. So as long as you've got a bias, I feel like it's easier to look for these patterns. Then if you miss the first push, once price starts to trend, if it's an uptrend, for example, there will always be liquidity sweeps. These are what we look for. If price does a liquidity sweep whilst we're in an uptrend, then we use those areas as entry points. Okay, the trade is currently running at 50 points. We've reached the first TP area, and this is also a liquidity sweep to the top side. So I guess the thing with trading is just understanding what price is doing or what we are aiming for. So you'll see this was the H1 candle we had prior to the London session opening. We've marked the low, we marked the high, and we waited for a liquidity sweep on either side. So once we get that sweep, then we look for a pattern, of course, with a bias. We had a bullish bias based on what I just explained earlier. So with that in mind, and after getting the liquidity sweep, the next thing I'm looking for is the pattern. Once I see the pattern, execution, uh, 50 to 100 points is perfect for a good setup in my books. So yeah, after this trade, I'm just going to do a quick analysis of the other things on my watch list. I'll just mark up the points of interest, but in terms of a trade for this morning, I believe we successfully caught this one. So like you saw, I was just like quickly moving across my watch list. If something which you identify with shows during your trading time, the only thing you can do as a trader is to execute the trade. The only thing you can do as a trader is to execute. If there is nothing familiar during your kill zone time, then you just sit on your hands. That's how trading goes. So trade currently running at almost 70 points, just under 1% on the particular account where I took the trade. Okay, 1% secured. All right. So I'll share the trade in the group for the guys who just want to see it. But yeah, I think that's all for today in terms of the actual live trade. We're going to come back to this maybe just now, but let's just take a quick look at the other assets and see if we'll be able maybe to get a trade for New York session. But our London session open kill zone has been a success. And yeah, let me just take this. Then, okay. Right. So, or maybe let's do this. I'm going to quickly show you guys the results, or rather the trade, not the results. You can see this is the trade as I was explaining it, and the execution here running at 1%, which is where I secured it. I just wanted, this is a prop firm account, so I just um secured that 1%, and you can see all the way from M15, the pattern has to line up. Everything has to line up for the trade to be a success. So TP area, the reason I secured my 1% is because of this TP area, which I'm like, those price can still come back in the range. But like I explained earlier, also, we can still push up into these points of interest above all the way to 23,500, like I explained. All right, so we are going maybe to come back to it a bit later. So looking at US tech or Nasdaq, I'm looking forward for a bullish day for now, unless maybe price shows me something else. I'll say I'm looking for a bullish day. Point of interest is actually Friday's New York highs. So if I'm bullish, I want to see break, retest, and the continuation, right? Otherwise, if we get a liquidity sweep, price can still come back down towards Friday's New York session lows, also to take out liquidity there, maybe and push back up. So these are just possible moves which could potentially happen. So at what point will I trade it? I'll only execute a New York session. I'll only execute this in New York session. So I'm just going to assume that during the London session, there won't be much of volume. Price will just play around this area, maybe give me a reason to take the buy. But if price gives that momentum, while least I'm not on the charts or right now during New York session or during London session, this is going to be a miss for me. If they get into these points of interest before New York session, it's going to be a potential miss for me. So now I'll be paying attention to let's see. Okay, this is Friday's high right here. If we break retest and still retest the same area at New York session. So let's say we get something like this. Price pushes up, then retraces during or towards New York session, maybe something like this. I can take the trade. I can take the trade. So I'll just be checking what price will be giving me and I'll trade accordingly. But my bias out from what I'm looking at right now, buys are possible. Okay, same applies to US 500. But now what I'm picking up from US 500, you see we've got this imbalance here. On Nasdaq, this imbalance is not there. So if you're trading one of these two, you want to pay attention to SMT divergence. That sort of helps you in getting high probability setups. But at the same time, again, I do have this point of interest at the top, which I believe price can still push up there and get to. So I'll just be seeing what pattern they'll give us towards New York session. If we tap into this area and price respects this area, then I'll look for buys. So that will also give me that bias to also look for buys on Nasdaq, right? So if we come below this fair value gap now, that might also show me that, okay, whatever is going on here might as well continue. So I'll be looking for shorts. So I'll keep this point of interest on H4 as my main point of interest. I won't go to a smaller time frame than this. On Nasdaq, you can see there's no imbalance. All right, so that's my view on these two. Then German 40, we've already spoken about it. We also had a bullish bias going back to these points of interest, going back possibly to this high. And H1, we were right on the 13. We marked the previous H1. I think those who trade CRT theory or strategy, something like that, this is a good example of it. I believe so. I stand to be corrected, but it's more or less the same thing. We marked the low, the high, waited for a liquidity sweep, which we saw. So this whole concept on the buy we took is based off what's going on the higher time frame. So now when you see me jump to M15, M15 we could have waited for a close, but that's too late. You want to always try to get in early. So I usually use the 3 minutes. But if I understand what my higher time frame is telling me, you will see me go to as low as the 1 minute. So the same pattern I explained that I look for is the same pattern I look for on the 1 minute. So as long as I identify my pattern, we had a fair value gap here, which was violated. Then we had another fair value gap here, which was now respected. So price is now changing direction. Break of structures, break of structures. You could also call this a breaker block. Price comes now above the open price, which means the daily candle is now what? Green. It's now bullish. So as long as we understand what our price is doing when we come to the smaller time frame, it's a bit easier to understand what's going on. So that's the trade. I think this price will potentially push to the 100 points. We entered somewhere in here after we identified this. Yeah, 100 points is on this red line, so it's almost there. All right, gold. Gold. So with gold, Last week we caught a few scalps, good trades on gold. But if you notice, there's not enough volume for me to be too interested in it today. Um, like if you see this range we have here, it's there's a little bit of choppiness. You cannot say price is bullish or price is bearish until we come out of this bit of choppiness. What are we looking for? Maybe is a range like this. Not a range per se, but a flow of price like this or something like this. You see where price is actually like trending. We're basically looking for trends. So the only point of interest I have for now maybe would be this zone just to see how price is going to act here. We might sell from there. We might break, then find resistance on 4100 and sell. But if we break 4100 with a solid move, it could also mean we're breaking out of this little consolidation there, or whatever you call it, and price could now push up to 4150. That's a possible play. On the bottom side, maybe for me to start selling also, I want to see strong push, maybe breaking this level, then I'll start looking for sales. But I'm not too interested in gold today, just based off this market structure. That's the 4 hour time frame. Then going to US 30, what could potentially happen here? Let's check the higher time frame. Again, I'll say I'm looking for longs. I'm definitely looking for longs. My longs are not long term, by the way. It's just a daily bias which I have. So why am I looking for longs here? If you check here where price left, I feel like price could push up there. Price could also push up here. We're currently trading in between the 50 and the 13. So if we do this, respect this area, you can also see we have a fair value gap here. So if we tap below and come back above, I'll be looking for buys coming back up here. Then from this level, I'll see whether price wants to continue, maybe tap here, or maybe we're going to sell from here or sell from here, or actually continue going up. This is a fresh week and it's a holiday week. Anything can happen at this point. So just also practice your own due diligence on this one. Then GJ, looking at this, you can see price has bounced off a certain point of interest, which are marked from some time last week, and we are back above it. So based on what I'm looking right now, I would simply look for a continuation of this uptrend, which has been going on. I don't want to go against the trend as of yet. Looking at the daily, you can also see this month has been bullish. So maybe let me mark this level as a point of interest. If we break, we can potentially continue pushing up. If we tap, we might get like an M pattern. We might get something like this. Then price retraces to close off the month. They'll be coming to the 13 EMA and also coming to this level. So now we'll see what they will do when they get here. It's either the uptrend is going to continue or price might now reverse. These are all possible plays which we are looking at. So yeah, okay, let's just check it. So for GG, I'll say this is what I'm just looking for on the daily. If we come to H4, again, price can actually push up during this London session, maybe New York up into this level, which we marked. That's also a possible play. So I would say I will remain with a bullish bias here. I'll stay bullish. I'll definitely stay bullish. But do I have an entry though at the moment? No. So this is not really something I'm interested in for now, or maybe for today. Maybe I'll check it at New York and see what will be happening. Then we've got Euro USD. What am I looking for? I'm just paying attention to how price, or rather how today's daily candle is going to play. We might push into the 13, continue with the sales, which is what I want to see, I guess. Same applies to GU. So again, there's SMT divergence on these two, and potentially price can come, create another low or a new low for this month. So if we get a reaction here, maybe the next 2, 3 days might be or could potentially be bearish. All right, so I just think for today, that's about it. On this one, we'll just be looking at SMT. All right, we'll just be looking at SMT divergence here for a potential continuation of the sell. But again, we'll see. Once the daily candles turn bearish, I'll definitely be looking for a short or for sells on either EU or GU. But my main assets for today, I would say it's indices, mainly Nasdaq. If I can get anything showing me a buy, I'll most likely take a buy. I'm also anticipating a zone flip here. So if we're going to buy, we break Friday's high or this day's high, we break Friday's high, we remain above it, maybe retest, then that would definitely be a high probability buy. But if price does something else, then I'll give another update maybe during New York session. So for now, that's it from me. I hope you guys managed to catch the German Fuji trade which we had. If you watched until the end, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Do let me know some of the things you want me to touch on when we do these live trading sessions. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the day. Good trading.